Give me a second. Give me a second. Hold on.
Large eyes. Remember, based on species, they're small, right? That doesn't mean that there's a baby, it's a baby, right? It might be an adult, based on the size, it's not as big as a Norway rat or a Russian rabbit. The baby ones are called mice. What people always just say, right, but now we know that we actually have a species that is small. So not all small rat basically is a baby, right? Good. Now, how do we know when we have a rat infestation? You can smell them, the truth. They have a strong musty odor. How else can we know? I mean, when you see that, you smell the urine, right? How else? Yes, you see all our rough marks along walls. Then you see the light ones, you see the dead ones too. Yes. You see damaged goods or products. You see burrows. So let's look at some of the size. Everyone listening to me? Where am I hearing each other? Remember, this aspect is very important, right? Because we need to go out there and identify signs of rodent infestation too, right? So we need to learn it so we can go out there and apply it, right? Good. Now we can see the droppings. So it's large finger shape for rats and small for the mice. We can also see knob marks on food packaging, wires or wood. We'll also observe tracks or tail marks in dusty areas, or we can see rub marks along the walls, right? Our Mr. Small sets up oil marks along the wall, because they're not all moving straight line along the walls and stuff like that. So you will see the rub marks along the walls as well. They have a strong musty odor, and you can hear it, especially at night. Now let's look at some of the habits and behavior of rats. They are nocturnal. What do we mean when we say they are nocturnal? They are mostly active at night, right? So since they are nocturnal, their activities will be mostly concentrated during the night hours, right? So that means that if you actually see a rat running around during the day, what does that mean? What do you think that means? That means the population is high. You have a lot of rats, and that means that they are competing for food. Hence why you see them running around in the day. Because normally they would hide in the day and come out at night when the place is quiet and stuff like that. So for you to see a rat running around in the day, it means that the population is very high and they're competing for food. Right? Now rats are also excellent climbers and swimmers. That's why they're able to go on the roofs, they can swim in water, stuff like that, right? They're excellent climbers and swimmers. As you said, they're excellent swimmers. Now, they're constantly gnawing to wear down the teeth. Remember, I told you they have long incisors, right? So they're constantly chewing at things. So they can basically wear down the teeth. Like if it's getting too long, they're going to constantly gnaw things to kind of level it off. Now, as I said to you, they are rapid breeders. How soon again the female rat can get pregnant? After giving birth, right? And how many litters per batch? Up to 12, right? Good. And as I said before, they bacteria that causes leptospirosis. It is present in the urine of the rat, right? It's present in the urine of the rat. So a lot of the times, when rat bites something, what we do? What we do? And the rat one bite. What you want to do? George Brent. So a lot of the time what persons do is they just put off that part of the rat, right? But rats and rodents like this. You see, anywhere they eat, they're going to make a mess. So you might not come and say drop it, but then when you urinate, they bite here, they turn the rest of the body and urinate here. So when you cut off the part, the rest of the urine is moving to the rest of the brain. You eat now. All of a sudden you start getting sick. Vomiting. Diarrhea. Yes, everybody starts to know. And you remember saying, what happened to argument? So guys, this is important that something is rat damage. What should we do with it? What should we do with it? Or what should we encourage persons to do? To salvage any part of it, right? Throw it away, right? If here's a prevention is better than cure, right? Please guys, it is important that if something is rat damage, throw it in kind. Good? Right, so we did say that leptospirosis, guys, what we did, leptospirosis can be passed on by the rats. There's also plague. Plague can be passed on via fleas, right? Fleas. They know rats. Some of the rats will have fleas on them just the same, right? So how you can get plague is from these fleas, right? So it's spread through humans through the bite of the infected fleas. So the rat keep coming to your place. Every time you pass through, they have a couple fleas, right? You come now, you just come lie down on the carpet or whatever. The fleas start biting, infect you, right? So that's how you can get plague. There's also salmonella, food poisoning that you can get. The rat come in contact with your food, pass on the salmonella bacteria, you eat it and you get sick, right? There's also the hantavirus. Now, hantavirus is a group of virus carried by rodents. How humans can get it? Humans can get it when they breathe in tiny particles from the urine of the rodent, from the droppings or saliva that have dried and become airborne. So when it has dried, the urine has dried, the droppings and stuff like that, and you inhale those tiny particles, you can get a group of virus called the hantavirus, right? They can also damage property and contaminate food, right? Now, how do we control rodents? We must always ensure that we keep our surroundings clean, right? If you keep your surroundings clean, even if they pass by, they will stay, as there's something here for them. We must always ensure that we store food in sealed containers. Remember, we're not always around, and we don't know what they might move over and stuff like that. So ensure that we store food in sealed containers. Now, it's also important that we remove garbage promptly. I'm sure, especially for persons who work in South or in the town areas, you can attest that you have seen rats all the time, especially in garbage holding containers. The truth. Guys, yes. All the whites get mixed up when they don't garbage properly. As Mr. Park says, some of them look like this. And it's true. Remember, the rats, they need a habitat. So the garbage, the pile of garbage, that creates an ideal habitat for them. They'll get food, they'll get shelter, and most times they'll get water there, right? So it's important for us to store garbage properly, and once it is stored, we remove it promptly. As we speak about water, they need water, so we try to eliminate water sources. So just like mosquito, when we say remove things that are set in water, punch holes in cans and stuff like that, the same goes for the rats. They still need water. So once we try to reduce these water sources, we're actually reducing the possibility of us harboring rats, right? Now let's look at some rodent control methods. There's also the use of rodenticides and trapping. Now it's important, Mr. Campbell, Shabby. I'm going to ask you to come up here soon, because I don't see why I'm competing with you. No, but this is something that's important to raise your hand so we can share it, right? So the others can hear. Alright, guys. We must make sure that we only use approved chemicals and it is used safely. That is why everybody can come in and do rodent control, right? We must ensure that we follow guidelines for bait and placement of the baits. And that is why, especially in food establishments, we don't recommend that they do baiting, they do their own baiting. What we recommend as vector control workers, we recommend persons set up bait station. And anybody know how the bait station works? Or what is a bait station? Mr. Gray? They're not hearing Mr. Gray. Stop saying that project. He's telling you about a simple method that you can use as a bait station.
Yes, as I said, we can use bamboo. Bamboo, the little opening, bamboo sides, bamboo station.
Mr. Melis, you hear Mr. Gray? We need to listen to each other. That's how we learn, right?
As I'm saying, use a bamboo with two opening on each side. We bait them on a binding wire. Push the bait on the binding wire to the inside of the bamboo. Where they have scratch it on the ground.
Basically, it's a whole thing where for twice a day. Where the rat can
But only when they don't do it twice, just stay away.
Guys, it's important and why, yes, Shabby. Alright, Shabar said we can use block, and persons are also using pipes, right? So basically, the whole reason for doing this, as Mr. Ford said, is to ensure that the baits are secure. Remember, when they come and buy, we don't want them to move it all over the place. Because when they move it all over the place, you and I might not know where they're going. Make sure that the bait is secure to something, right? So you use binding wire, you tie it into the bamboo, block, pipe or stuff like that. And you can put it along the wall or stuff fence. Because remember we said they're moving straight line, right? So they're always going to run along in a straight line. So when you set it secure, we set up a base station. From time to time, members of the senior team, they would have gone and assist places like, right. So we'll go and set up, assist them in setting up base station, and we'll go back and check to see how much and we see the live one around and the dead one and stuff like that, right? The evaluation. So it's important that we protect children and non-target animals when we're setting up these traps and baits, right? There's also the use of glue traps and live traps, right? Now, as I said, the traps and bait station must always be placed along the runways and near the entry points, right? Now, safety for us, the vector control workers. Now, when we are doing our inspections for mosquito control, rodent control, always ensure, and we have always stressed that you work in teams, especially in volatile areas. Wear your protective equipment, your PPEs, so for persons who might be engaged in setting up base stations and stuff like that. Is that great? We always ensure that we wear our PPEs, ensure that we have our gloves and stuff like that. And we can never overstress the importance of washing hands after handling traps, rodents, chemicals, everything. Right? Nothing can replace hand washing. Not even the use of sanitizer cannot replace hand washing. What the hand washing does, the hand washing gets rid of the soil, and then the sanitizer can act on the germs. So if your hands is fully soiled, and you attempt to use some sanitizer, that soil is just creating a film, so the sanitizer won't get to act on any germs. So we have to ensure that we wash our hands, right? And we must always ensure that we report heavy infestation for reinforcement. Now sometimes when you go out there and do inspections, or if you're buying food or you're visiting grocery stores or cook shops or whatever, based on the situation, you might not always be able to do an inspection of some areas. So that's why the communication is important. And I've had instances where staff members have come to me and said, Miss Macaulay, you know, I visited such and such and the place never smell good. So staff members of your team can do some follow-up, right? And that's good, right? Remember, we are all working for one main goal, you know, preservation of health, right? So when you come across little things, even though it might not be in your scope to do much about it, depending on the situation, it's always good to pass on the information, right? So the relevant authorities or the relevant persons can act, right? Now, community education. We must always ensure that we engage with residents on prevention. As Mr. Morris said and Mr. Scott said, we're not always going to be in the community. We can't always be here. So education and engaging community is very important. Once you talk to persons and they know the importance, you know, they will play their part, right? So I say this to say that sometimes when we carry out inspections, sometimes you have to spend a little time to talk to the persons, educate them. It's not just go, the drum empty area, come on, no. Let them know why they're looking. Let them know why they're treating it. Let them know why they need to cover the containers, right? Let them know why they need to store the garbage properly. Let them know why they need to remove the garbage, right? Education goes a long way. We can't always be here. So once persons know the importance of why they're doing things, you'll find that the work becomes easier, especially for you, right? So we want to ensure that we promote proper waste disposal. We encourage persons to seal their buildings and homes, tell them why they need to screen it, seal it, and we stress the importance of reporting infestation. Always ensure that we share the information, right? Remember, I'm not always here with you. So how we can act on things is when you pass that information on to us, right? infestation. And how are some of those ways again? So everybody has been? Hold on, we don't want to hear no stronger side here. Because everybody over here is well quiet. How we know we have a rat problem? So look like if you give a test, we have 3/4 class still there.
This is the American idea.
Huh?
This is the American idea.
All right. We looked at the control requirements for the environmental management. We stressed the importance of teamwork and ensuring that we use our safety gears. And remember to always involve the community, right? And education is key. Now, remember, Mr. Scott told you that road and control is a part of what we do as well. Now, this would be a revised form. I'm sorry, you maybe can't see it. I hear it. But actually has a part there for rodent infestation. You might not be able to see it. But there's actually a part there for rodent infestation. So it's the regular form that you use, it's just updated to include rodent. So in doing our regular inspections, there's a part there where you actually see the evidence of rodent infestation. If there is none, you just tick no. But once you actually see evidence, you state whether it is
let's drop it.
So would that be the insect inspector job to go and set traps properly if they detect rodent infection?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
In that case, there somebody find rodent infestation, right? Will it be also the insect inspector to go and set the trap?
Based on the capacity we are not able to treat as we do it for mosquito, right? So most times our role would be education and recommendation, right? We recommend. For example, if we go into our establishment, we recommend, right? We educate and we recommend that they see trained person to come and deal with the problem, right?
Remember also when they do inspection, there might be some contributory factors that you might identify. As Mr. Pusmatali spoke about environmental factors that may be contributing to the infestation of the rodents. We are going to point those out to the householder or occupier of the premises for them to remedy. Because, all right, remember we do integrated vector management. It's not just come and set voice and that's it. You have to see that it's contributing and try to remove those. Alright, so you educate them to store their food properly, educate them to practice proper waste disposal, so clean up the garbage area, seal the outer openings to their premises, stuff like
So
that.
you rather do that than set traps then?
No. Set trap becomes a last resort, similar to how we do fogging. Fogging should be a last resort, right? So you're going to, right, for any vector to proliferate, you need food, water, and shelter. So you want to pull those away from them, right? We're not looking to anybody else. But what makes them stay? Sorry, go ahead.
Alright, so even though it's a big foggy, I'm going to show you the concept basically. So there's a part there for rodent infestation, right? So if there's no rodent infestation, just tick no. But once there is a yes, it's either going to be, we see them dead or alive. We smell them, so if we smell them, tick the border. If we saw 9 marks, we tick 9. If we see droppings, then we tick that. Or if we see the rub marks, we tick. So once there's a yes, we take whichever one applies, right? Now, we paper for printing. So we want to use up what we have before we move on to the new ones. Myself and Mr. Scott will further remind you. So a fictional person who's I have learned how many data control who have received the tablets. Is that right?
We're not quite realizing that was proposed in place. Yes. However, this is something that if the proposal is accepted, this will be incorporated into I think that is the database itself.